Being honest and taking responsibility can be a difficult challenge, and at times even unbearable. But what happens when we choose to be dishonest or refuse to take responsibility for our actions? Today, I bring you the story of a man whose sense of responsibility saved a family from so much trouble. And as always, it is a true life occurrence. A man called Mr. David, who had just closed from work and was driving home, decides to stop at a store for some items. After getting what he needed to get, he got into his car and was about to leave when he crashed into a car parked close by accidentally. He got out to take a look, and he found out he had damaged a Lexus 470 parked close to his car. Worried about the damage he had done, Mr. David couldn't just leave without meeting the car's owner. So he waited for the owner to apologize and possibly take responsibility for the damage done. But after 40 minutes of waiting, there was still no sign of the owner anywhere close by. So he decided to leave a note of apology and also his phone number for when the owner finally came to pick up the car. After dropping the note, Mr. David drove home with the expectation of receiving a call from the owner when he saw the damage. But to Mr. David's surprise, the night went by without any calls from an unknown number. He began to fear whether the wind had taken away the piece of paper containing the note. The following morning, too, went by without a call. That made him worry even more. But later that day, the call he had been anticipating came through, and with tears, the man on the line told him how much the note Mr. David left behind had saved his job and life. It turns out that the person who parked the car happens to be a driver, and the note Mr. David left behind is what served as evidence of his innocence. Apparently, his boss had threatened to fire him for the incident and lock him up until he could pay for the damage done to his car. However, upon presenting the note to him, his employer asked him to call the number on the note for confirmation, which he did. And from there, he asked for a video call. Mr. David and the driver talked for a long time, and from there, the driver handed the phone to his employer. The employer spoke to Mr. David on the phone, and Mr. David narrated everything to him and apologized, taking full responsibility for the repair. At first, the employer agreed for the car's repair to be funded by Mr. David and even sent his account details. But he later changed his mind and told Mr. David not to worry about it any longer. Do you see the reward for honesty? He could have easily accepted the money, but because of Mr. David's honesty, the owner of the car actually pardoned him, despite the cost of the damage. That same honesty and a sense of responsibility is the reason why the poor driver didn't suffer the terrible fate of being locked up or losing his job. Because of Mr. David's noble act, he didn't just save the driver from losing his job, but also the driver's family from falling into extreme poverty and hardship. And this, my dearest listeners, is the story of Mr. David and how he saved a man from losing his job and going to jail. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned from it. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in my next story.